Caught on camera, hilarious and rude tourist fails. They imagine themselves taking the perfect photograph, tasting new foods, exploring historic streets, and collecting memories that will last forever. The feeling of anticipation is almost tangible as they pack their bags, make their flight reservations, and plan every little detail of their journey. Some carry guidebooks, while others prefer their phones with maps and travel apps. Many bring cameras or smartphones, ready to capture every moment. Some even practice poses at home, trying to make sure their pictures look just right. As these tourists arrive at their destinations, the excitement can be seen in their eyes. Streets bustle with people from all over the world, speaking different languages, wearing different clothes, and carrying a wide variety of belongings. Some tourists stick together in groups, following their tour guides carefully. Others wander alone or in pairs, exploring at their own pace. Every corner seems new and fascinating. The smell of street food, the sound of musicians playing on sidewalks, and the sight of historic buildings and monuments make everything feel magical. In these busy spots, the tourists' cameras never stop clicking. They photograph everything they see, from towering statues to small street signs. They take selfies with friends or family, sometimes using selfie sticks that stretch high above their heads. They pause to admire sculptures, fountains, and architecture, capturing images from every angle. Even small details, like the patterns on a building or a colorful flower in a park, become important photo opportunities. The tourists' minds are constantly busy, thinking about the next picture, the next story to tell, or the next memory to make. While tourists are excited, not all of them are careful. Some are unaware of the rules or traditions of the place they are visiting. They might step where they shouldn't, touch objects that are meant to be left alone, or walk into areas that are off-limits. Others may not notice signs written in a language they do not understand, assuming they can do whatever they like. This is natural because when someone travels to a new country, they cannot know everything. Still, these small mistakes often lead to funny or awkward situations. Local people, vendors, and guides notice these little mistakes. Sometimes they smile quietly watching tourists, confusion, or clumsiness. They are used to seeing visitors from all over the world. They see tourists attempting unusual poses for photographs or carefully balancing themselves to get the perfect shot. Occasionally, a tourist's enthusiasm gets the better of them. For example, someone might climb onto a low wall to pose for a picture, not realizing it is slippery or unstable. Others might stretch their arms out too far for a selfie, bumping into someone walking past. Tourists' excitement can also make them a bit impatient. They are often in a rush to see everything before their time runs out. Some plan to visit many places in a single day and forget to pay attention to their surroundings. This eagerness sometimes causes them to miss small warnings or safety signs. It can lead to situations that are funny for bystanders and sometimes a little embarrassing for the tourists themselves. For example, a person might step into a fountain without realizing it, or almost trip over a low barrier while trying to get a better view. These moments are natural when someone is exploring a new place, but they can create memories that are later laughed about. Despite these minor mistakes, tourists are often very happy and enthusiastic. They enjoy meeting new people, tasting new foods, and experiencing cultures different from their own. Even when they make small errors, they often laugh at themselves and continue to explore. Some tourists are curious and ask locals questions about traditions or history. Others prefer to just observe quietly, soaking in the surroundings. Each tourist has their own way of enjoying the journey, and all of these experiences contribute to the unique energy of busy tourist spots. One interesting aspect is how tourists sometimes try to copy what they have seen in photographs or on social media. They attempt popular poses in front of famous landmarks or mimic gestures they saw in other travel pictures. While their intentions are good, it can lead to awkward or funny moments. For instance, a tourist might try to jump in front of a monument, only to miss the perfect timing and land clumsily. Others may attempt balancing acts on uneven surfaces for dramatic photographs, sometimes losing their balance and causing a small scene. These moments, while unplanned, often become the most memorable parts of their trip. Tourists also have different reactions to mistakes. Some are calm and take it lightly, laughing off minor falls or awkward moments. Others get embarrassed but continue taking pictures or exploring, determined not to let a small mishap ruin their experience. There are also those who do not realize what they did wrong, continuing their activities with complete confidence. These different reactions add variety to the situations and make each tourist experience unique. Vendors and street performers often interact with tourists in ways that create additional funny moments. A street performer might be doing a serious act when a tourist unintentionally steps into their performance area. The tourist may freeze, move awkwardly, or even try to pose with the performer, creating a humorous scene. Vendors may notice tourists trying to bargain or misunderstand prices, resulting in polite confusion or laughter. These interactions are natural and harmless, but they often get noticed by other visitors and sometimes captured on cameras. Another factor is language barriers. Tourists from one country may not speak the language of the place they are visiting. Even simple instructions, such as "do not touch" or "please stay behind the line," may be misread or ignored. This can cause small incidents that look funny to onlookers. For example, a tourist might lean over a barrier to get a better photograph, not understanding that they are not allowed to do so. Others might ask questions in a language that locals do not fully understand, leading to gestures, smiles, and laughter instead of serious communication. Overall, these situations make tourist spots lively and full of stories. While some tourists may feel nervous at first, they soon realize that small mistakes are part of the experience. Locals and other visitors often watch with amusement, understanding that these incidents are not meant to be disrespectful. Instead, they are the result of excitement, curiosity, and human nature. Tourists may not know every rule or custom, but their enthusiasm brings energy and life to the places they visit. By the end of their first day, tourists often have multiple stories to tell. They may recount moments when they slipped, bumped into someone, or took an unusual photograph. Some of these stories are embarrassing at the moment, but hilarious in hindsight. Cameras and smartphones capture many of these moments, turning them into memories that last forever. Later, when these tourists look back at their pictures, they remember the laughter, the confusion, and the excitement of exploring somewhere new. Even though mistakes happen, tourists continue to learn and adapt. They start paying more attention to signs, local customs, and safety warnings. They become more careful about where they step, how they take photographs, and how they interact with others. Despite this, the funny and awkward moments continue to happen because part of the adventure is not knowing exactly what will happen next. This unpredictability is what makes traveling exciting, memorable, and often hilarious. In these busy tourist spots, every visitor contributes to a larger story. Each action, whether intentional or accidental, adds to the collection of experiences that make travel enjoyable. While tourists aim to create perfect memories, the reality is often filled with funny mistakes, unexpected interactions, and moments that make everyone smile. It is these moments that are often captured on camera, shared with friends and family, and remembered for years to come. The first day in a new place is always full of energy, curiosity, and excitement. Tourists take countless pictures, ask questions, explore streets, and taste new foods. They learn about the culture, meet locals, and interact with fellow travelers. And along the way, they make small mistakes that are natural, harmless, and often hilarious. These experiences become the foundation of a story that grows richer with each passing day, filled with laughter, lessons, and unforgettable memories. By the end of this part of the story, it is clear that tourist spots are not just about landmarks, architecture, or food. They are about people, moments, and the unpredictable joy that comes from stepping into the unknown. Tourists, excitement, curiosity, and occasional mistakes create a living, breathing scene that is as entertaining as it is memorable. And somewhere, quietly observing or sometimes joining in, are the locals, street performers, and other visitors, all contributing to a shared experience that will be remembered for a long time. Tourists often arrive at famous landmarks full of energy and excitement, carrying cameras, guidebooks, and dreams of capturing perfect memories. They have already passed the first part of their journey, feeling thrilled by the new surroundings, the colorful streets, and the buzzing crowds. Everything seems new and exciting, and they cannot wait to explore more. However, as the day goes on, the reality of being in a busy tourist spot begins to show. The excitement that first felt so magical sometimes leads to small mistakes, awkward moments, and unintentional mishaps. These moments, though harmless, are often caught on camera by other tourists or security cameras, turning them into stories that people later share with laughter. It usually begins with small actions that seem normal at the moment. A tourist might step slightly beyond a rope barrier to get a better view of a statue. Another might lean too far over a railing to take a selfie. In their minds, they are simply trying to capture a perfect photograph, but in reality, they are stepping into tricky situations. These small errors often happen because tourists are too focused on their cameras or the perfect angle for a photo. Their attention is completely on the shot, and they forget to look around. As a result, they sometimes stumble over uneven pavement, bump into other people, or almost knock over a display. These triggering events are often caused by curiosity and excitement. Tourists want to see everything, touch everything, and experience everything. They might spot something unusual or beautiful, like a small fountain, a piece of art, or a street performer, and rush toward it without noticing the warning signs. Some tourists, wanting to get as close as possible, cross areas marked as off-limits, unaware that they are walking where they should not. Others might misread instructions or fail to notice subtle signs. For example, a small sign that says, "Do not step here," might be overlooked if the tourist is too focused on taking pictures. The busy atmosphere of tourist spots also contributes to these mistakes. Crowds are constantly moving, with people walking in all directions. Street performers, vendors, and fellow tourists create a lively environment. While this energy is exciting, it can also be overwhelming. Tourists often try to navigate through these crowds while looking at their phones or cameras. In some cases, they bump into someone, trip over a small obstacle, or step into a fountain without realizing it. Each of these small incidents is a natural result of being in a busy place with so much to see and do. One common trigger for funny tourist fails is the desire to take selfies or dramatic photos. Some tourists carry selfie sticks that extend high above their heads, trying to capture the perfect angle. Others try to balance themselves on small walls or steps to get a better view. These actions can easily lead to awkward or funny moments. For example, a tourist might attempt to jump for a dramatic photo, but miss the timing and land in a slightly embarrassing way. Others might try to pose next to a street performer or statue, only to accidentally knock over a small prop or make the performer react in surprise. These moments, though unexpected, are often harmless and create memories that the tourist will later laugh about. Sometimes, the triggering events are caused by misunderstanding local customs. Tourists may not know that certain areas are sacred or that touching specific objects is considered disrespectful. In their enthusiasm, they might walk into these areas or handle objects, thinking it is allowed. While their intentions are innocent, their actions can lead to funny or awkward reactions from locals. A tourist might try to sit on a bench in a restricted area or lean on a railing meant to be purely decorative. These incidents often make for amusing pictures or videos that are later shared online. Crowds and long lines also contribute to the situation. Popular landmarks often have many visitors at the same time, creating long queues and busy spaces. Tourists, eager to get their photos quickly, sometimes push ahead or try to find shortcuts. In doing so, they might accidentally step on someone's foot, bump into a sign, or nearly fall while climbing stairs. These small mistakes are part of the natural chaos of busy tourist spots. Onlookers often notice these moments and may quietly laugh, while security cameras or other visitors capture them. The weather can also play a role in triggering funny fails. Rain, snow, or slippery surfaces make walking and posing for photos more challenging. A tourist trying to take a dramatic photo on a wet surface might slip or stumble. Windy conditions can cause hats, umbrellas, or cameras to fly unexpectedly, leading to amusing situations. Even sunny weather can cause mishaps, such as tourists squinting or tripping while focusing on their photos. These small accidents, while inconvenient, add to the unpredictability and humor of travel. Food and local delicacies sometimes create moments of confusion and laughter. Tourists often want to try unusual dishes or street food. Sometimes they do not know how to eat something properly, or they react unexpectedly to a taste they were not expecting. A tourist might spill a snack, make a surprised face, or struggle to eat with unfamiliar utensils. These little incidents, while natural, are often funny to watch and are frequently caught on camera. Street vendors sometimes find these reactions amusing, and other tourists nearby may giggle at the scene. Interactions with street performers are another source of triggering events. Many performers rely on tourists as their audience or props for their act. When a tourist accidentally steps into the performer's area or misunderstands their cues, it can create funny situations. A tourist might try to pose as part of a performance, causing the performer to react dramatically. Other times, tourists might laugh or get startled by the unexpected performance, creating a chain reaction of amusing reactions. These moments are often recorded by nearby visitors, adding to the collection of funny tourist fails. Language barriers add another layer to these incidents. Tourists may not understand signs, instructions, or local advice. They might ask questions in a language that the local does not understand or misinterpret gestures and warnings. These small misunderstandings often lead to awkward or humorous situations. For instance, a tourist might attempt to enter a restricted area, thinking it is allowed, or might follow the wrong path because they misread a map. These moments, while unplanned, are natural and harmless and contribute to the memorable experience of traveling. Transportation can also create moments of confusion and accidental mishaps. Tourists often use buses, taxis, trams, or rental bikes to move around. Learning to navigate unfamiliar transportation systems can be tricky. A tourist might get off at the wrong stop, struggle with ticket machines, or accidentally step onto the wrong bus. These situations, while frustrating at the moment, often become funny stories later. Other passengers or locals may watch these moments quietly, sometimes recording them, resulting in videos that highlight the humorous side of travel mistakes. All of these small events, slipping, stumbling, bumping, misreading signs, misunderstanding customs, or reacting to food, combine to create a lively and sometimes chaotic scene in tourist hotspots. While each incident may seem minor on its own, together they paint a picture of how unpredictable and human travel can be. These triggering events are the beginning of stories that people will remember, share, and laugh about for years. Cameras and smartphones play a major role in preserving these moments, allowing tourists and onlookers to look back and see just how funny and unpredictable travel can be. Despite the awkwardness of some of these moments, tourists usually remain happy and excited. They continue exploring, trying new foods, asking questions, and capturing photos. Each small fail becomes part of the adventure, a story to tell later. Tourists often laugh at themselves or shrug off minor mistakes, understanding that these incidents are part of the fun. They may not have planned to stumble or make awkward poses, but these moments often make the trip more memorable. By the end of the day, tourists have experienced multiple triggering events, some amusing, some slightly embarrassing, but all harmless. These incidents often teach lessons about paying attention, respecting local customs, and being careful in unfamiliar surroundings. More importantly, they provide laughter and stories to share. Friends, family, and other travelers often enjoy hearing about these moments, and social media platforms quickly capture and spread them. What might have been embarrassing at the time becomes a source of joy and humor later on. These early experiences set the tone for the rest of the tourist adventure. Tourists become more aware of their surroundings, learn to navigate crowds more carefully, and develop a better sense of local customs. Yet they continue to take risks for photos, try new foods, and explore unexpected areas. The excitement and curiosity that caused the first few funny mistakes remain, ensuring that more entertaining and memorable moments are likely to happen. In the end, these triggering events are a natural part of travel. They are caused by curiosity, excitement, and the desire to capture perfect memories. Each stumble, awkward pose, and misunderstanding adds to the richness of the travel experience. Cameras and smartphones capture these moments, preserving them for later enjoyment. Tourists often look back and laugh at their actions, realizing that these little fails are part of the adventure. It is these unpredictable, funny, and human moments that make travel so memorable, turning ordinary days into extraordinary stories that can be shared with others. As the day progresses in the busy tourist spots, the small mistakes of tourists begin to grow into larger, more noticeable incidents. At first, it was just a few awkward stumbles or misplaced steps, but now, The combination of excitement, crowds, and inexperience in a new place starts to create more chaotic and amusing moments. What begins as simple curiosity turns into full-blown situations that catch the attention of locals, street performers, and other visitors alike. Every corner seems to hold a potential moment for unexpected humor, and cameras, both handheld and security, capture these events as they unfold. One of the main reasons for this escalation is the combination of crowded spaces and the tourists' eagerness to get the best experience. Tourists often move quickly from one landmark to another, hoping to see as much as possible in a limited time. In this rush, they sometimes forget to pay attention to where they are stepping or what is happening around them. A tourist might reach over a fence to get a better photograph, not noticing a small step or a loose stone, and suddenly find themselves losing balance. Another tourist, focused entirely on framing the perfect selfie, might back into someone else, causing a chain reaction of minor collisions. These situations are harmless but highly entertaining for those who witness them. Escalation often comes from the tourists' desire to take dramatic or unusual photos. Many want a photo that will look impressive on social media, and this sometimes leads them to take risks. A tourist might climb a small ledge, attempt to lean over a railing, or jump in the air for a dynamic shot. While they are focused on posing perfectly, the environment continues to move around them. A gust of wind, an uneven surface, or a nearby passerby can turn a simple photo attempt into a chaotic moment. Sometimes, tourists almost fall or trip, flailing their arms in surprise while still trying to hold their cameras steady. These moments are perfect examples of small mistakes escalating into more noticeable incidents. Street performers and vendors also play a role in escalating the situation. Performers often rely on tourists for interaction, and when a tourist accidentally steps into a performance area, it can create a surprising scene. For example, a person might unintentionally bump into a performer who is pretending to be a statue, causing the performer to react dramatically. Other tourists nearby may laugh or try to take photos of the incident, unintentionally adding to the chaos. Similarly, vendors might call out to attract tourists' attention, causing them to stop suddenly or move unexpectedly, sometimes colliding with other visitors. The combination of curiosity, excitement, and distractions leads to a perfect setup for humorous mishaps. Another factor in the escalation is the tourists' interactions with one another. Many tourists travel in groups or pairs, and sometimes miscommunication occurs. One person may walk ahead too quickly, while another stops abruptly to take a photo. In the crowd, this leads to minor bumps, accidental stepping on toes, or jostling for space. Even small misunderstandings, like mistaking another group's guide for their own, can create amusing confusion. Tourists may wave to someone they think is part of their party, only to realize it is a stranger, leading to embarrassed laughter. These little conflicts, though innocent, contribute to the growing sense of chaos in busy areas. Food-related incidents also increase as the day continues. Tourists often stop to try local snacks or street food, sometimes in crowded areas. Balancing food, drinks, and cameras can be tricky. A tourist may drop a snack while trying to take a bite and simultaneously snap a picture, causing a mess and a funny scene. Others might spill drinks on themselves or nearby surfaces while distracted by the crowd or a conversation. These small accidents are easy to laugh at afterward, but they add to the escalating confusion during the day. One of the most noticeable sources of escalation is the combination of tourists, excitement, and lack of awareness about local customs. Many tourists want to experience everything, from historical sites to cultural performances, without realizing certain actions might be considered inappropriate or disruptive. For example, someone might speak loudly in a quiet museum or attempt to touch objects that are meant to be observed but not handled. Their excitement and curiosity, while innocent, often lead to minor conflicts with guides or staff. These small incidents escalate the tension slightly, making the situation even more noticeable to bystanders. Weather and environmental factors continue to contribute to escalating incidents. A sunny day may tempt tourists to run or play, trying to capture the perfect outdoor photo. Rainy or slippery conditions, meanwhile, increase the chances of slips and near falls. A gust of wind might blow a hat off someone's head, causing them to chase it while almost stepping on others. Sun glare can make it difficult to see obstacles or steps, resulting in stumbles. Each of these factors adds layers to the day's unfolding chaos, turning ordinary tourist activity into a series of unpredictable, amusing events. The escalation becomes even more entertaining when multiple mistakes happen simultaneously. For example, one tourist may stumble slightly while trying to take a photo, causing another person behind them to stop abruptly, leading to a small pileup of people moving in different directions. Someone else may drop a bag or camera in the middle of the commotion, creating a temporary scene of minor disorder. Each incident, while harmless, builds on the last, producing a lively and sometimes chaotic environment. Other tourists, locals, and street performers often watch these moments, quietly amused or taking photos and videos for later sharing. Technology, such as smartphones and cameras, plays a major role in capturing the escalation. Tourists are constantly recording their experiences, but in doing so, they often become unaware of what is happening around them. A person looking through a phone screen may walk into someone, step off a curb without noticing, or lose balance while adjusting a tripod. The presence of cameras also means that every awkward moment, stumble, or misstep is preserved. Later, these moments often become part of a larger collection of amusing tourist fails, shared with friends, family, or online audiences. Language barriers continue to influence the day's escalating incidents. Tourists may misinterpret signs, ask questions incorrectly, or misunderstand verbal instructions from guides. These small misunderstandings can create funny or awkward situations. For example, a tourist may try to enter a restricted area, thinking it is open, only to be stopped politely by a staff member. Others might follow the wrong path or board the wrong bus, causing minor delays and confusion. These experiences, while slightly inconvenient, contribute to the humor and unpredictability of the day. As the day moves on, the combination of crowds, excitement, curiosity, and inexperience results in a string of entertaining incidents. Tourists' mistakes, once small, have now escalated into a series of noticeable events that attract attention. People may slip, trip, collide, or misstep, creating moments that are both funny and slightly chaotic. These incidents, though minor, are the core of what makes the tourist experience memorable. They show the human side of travel, the curiosity, excitement, and occasional clumsiness that everyone experiences at some point. Despite the chaos, tourists often remain cheerful. They laugh at their mistakes, try again after a stumble, and continue exploring. They might apologize for bumping into someone or dropping something, then quickly move on to the next landmark. This mix of persistence and amusement keeps the day lively and engaging. Locals and other visitors, while sometimes slightly frustrated by minor disruptions, usually understand that tourists' actions are not meant to be disrespectful. Instead, they are the result of curiosity, excitement, and the challenge of navigating unfamiliar surroundings. By the end of this part of the story, it becomes clear that tourist fails are not just small accidents. They are part of a larger pattern. The combination of curiosity, excitement, crowded spaces, and lack of experience leads to situations that are both funny and memorable. These incidents escalate naturally as the day progresses, creating a lively and entertaining scene. Cameras, smartphones, and social media ensure that these moments are preserved, turning minor mistakes into shared experiences that can be enjoyed by many. Escalation also serves as a learning experience for tourists. By noticing the results of small mistakes, they begin to understand the importance of paying attention to their surroundings. They learn to respect local customs, navigate crowds more carefully, and adjust their behavior for safety and convenience. Even as they adapt, however, their natural excitement and curiosity ensure that more funny and unexpected incidents will continue to occur throughout the day. Ultimately, Part 3 of this story highlights the unpredictability and humor of travel. What begins as simple curiosity and minor mistakes naturally escalates into larger, more entertaining situations. Tourists' excitement, combined with environmental factors, crowds, and cultural differences, creates a lively, sometimes chaotic, and always memorable experience. These moments, captured on cameras or remembered as stories, form the heart of what makes traveling fun and unforgettable. By the time the day reaches its peak, The earlier small mistakes and awkward moments of tourists begin to combine into larger, more chaotic situations. The morning's curiosity and excitement, followed by the afternoon's escalating incidents, now reach what could be called the breaking point. At this stage, several tourists may be moving around at once, cameras in hand, completely focused on capturing the perfect photograph, tasting local delicacies, or trying something new. This combination of distraction, eagerness, and crowd energy often results in the funniest and most memorable moments of the day. One of the main reasons the breaking point occurs is the combination of fatigue and continued enthusiasm. Tourists have often been walking or exploring for several hours, navigating streets, plazas, and landmarks. Their feet are tired, but their excitement continues to push them forward. They may pay less attention to small obstacles, uneven surfaces, or other people around them. A tourist trying to cross a small step may misjudge the distance, trip slightly, and almost fall. Another tourist trying to photograph a nearby statue might step backward without looking, bumping into someone else. These small incidents quickly multiply as more visitors are moving around, creating a chain reaction of minor mishaps that are both harmless and entertaining. Selfies and dramatic photo attempts often play a central role in this breaking point. By now, many tourists are determined to get the perfect image, sometimes taking risks they would not normally consider. A person might attempt to climb a low fence for a better angle, only to realize it is slippery. Another tourist might attempt a mid-air jump, aiming to look like they are floating in front of a monument, but end up landing awkwardly. These actions, while unplanned, provide endless opportunities for funny and memorable moments. Nearby visitors often cannot help but watch, smile, or even take their own photos of the scene. Crowds, which earlier caused minor jostling, now contribute to larger chaotic moments. With many tourists in the same area, moving in different directions, small errors quickly turn into noticeable events. Someone stepping sideways to avoid a puddle may bump into another person. A dropped bag or camera may roll across the pavement, causing a chain reaction as people try to step aside. Street performers, guides, and vendors may become involved unintentionally. A performer pretending to be a statue might startle a tourist, who then jumps back and accidentally bumps into someone else. These interconnected incidents create a lively, unpredictable environment that is simultaneously funny and chaotic. Food-related moments also reach their peak at this breaking point. Tourists who have stopped to try local street food may find themselves distracted by their snacks while navigating the crowd. A dropped ice cream cone, a spilled drink, or a large sandwich being held too close to a camera lens can cause laughter for everyone watching. Someone may attempt to eat while walking, slipping slightly or getting a little messy, creating a comical scene. Vendors often watch quietly, accustomed to these minor incidents, while other tourists take pictures or videos to capture the unexpected humor of the situation. Weather and environmental conditions can add to the chaos. On a sunny day, tourists may be rushing to enjoy as much of the landmark as possible, sometimes running or moving quickly without noticing obstacles. Wind can blow hats, scarves, or even lightweight cameras, prompting tourists to chase after them while nearly colliding with others. Rain, if it appears unexpectedly, can make steps and sidewalks slippery, leading to cautious but often funny attempts to maintain balance. Even small animals, like birds or squirrels, may interact with tourists, causing unexpected reactions, such as sudden jumps or startled gestures, adding to the lively atmosphere. Language and cultural misunderstandings can also become more pronounced at the breaking point. Tourists may misinterpret instructions, ignore signs accidentally, or misread gestures from guides or locals. A tourist might try to enter a restricted area, thinking it is open, only to be gently stopped by a staff member. Another tourist might respond with a friendly wave or gesture, accidentally signaling something unexpected to a local, creating a funny or confusing moment. These incidents, while minor, add layers to the chaos and often create laughter for those nearby. The breaking point is often amplified when multiple tourists' actions collide in the same space. For example, one tourist bending over to photograph a flower may be accidentally blocked by another person trying to pass behind them. Meanwhile, someone else might be adjusting a tripod, causing them to step sideways into a passerby. A street performer reacting to sudden movement might take an exaggerated step, which then causes another tourist to jump back in surprise. These overlapping actions, though unplanned, create a ripple effect of humorous incidents that keep everyone on their toes. Another contributing factor is the tourists' continued attempts at creative or daring photographs. Some tourists attempt poses that require balance, coordination, or timing, such as leaning against statues, posing with fountains, or pretending to hold large monuments. At this stage of the day, fatigue may affect their balance, leading to slips, near falls, or awkward positions. These moments, though slightly embarrassing for the tourist at the time, often become the highlights of their day, remembered for the laughter and excitement they caused. Guides, locals, and security personnel sometimes step in at this breaking point, adding to the humor of the situation. A guide may call out to prevent someone from stepping into a restricted area, prompting a startled reaction. A vendor may raise a hand to block an approaching tourist, who then jumps back unexpectedly. Even these interventions, meant to maintain order, often result in funny reactions or small chain reactions among nearby tourists. Cameras, phones, and bystanders ensure that these moments are captured, preserving them for later enjoyment. Technology, as in earlier parts of the story, continues to play a role. Tourists are so focused on capturing video, taking selfies, or adjusting cameras that they sometimes fail to notice the events unfolding around them. This focus creates more opportunities for awkward, funny, or chaotic moments. A person concentrating on framing a photo may step backward into a fountain, miss a step, or bump into someone else holding a camera. Others may try to intervene, creating a larger chain of humorous reactions. The presence of technology ensures that these moments are not only experienced, but also shared, extending the laughter beyond the immediate scene. By this point, minor errors from earlier in the day have combined with ongoing excitement, environmental factors, crowd interactions, and attempts at creative photography to create a lively climax of tourist fails. The breaking point is characterized by multiple incidents happening simultaneously or in rapid succession. Tourists trip, stumble, laugh, and recover, while others around them react in amusement, surprise, or careful avoidance. These moments are harmless but highly entertaining, illustrating the unpredictable and human nature of travel. Despite the chaos, tourists generally remain cheerful. Most laugh at themselves, acknowledge small mistakes, and continue exploring with enthusiasm. Some apologize to nearby visitors or staff, then quickly resume their adventure, showing resilience and good humor. Others, less aware of what happened, continue on their way, oblivious to the small commotion they caused. Both reactions add to the richness of the breaking point, highlighting the variety of personalities and responses found among travelers. This stage of the story also highlights the social aspect of tourist fails. Onlookers, both locals and other visitors, often enjoy watching these events unfold. Laughter spreads through the crowd, sometimes encouraging tourists to embrace the humor of their mistakes. Cameras and smartphones capture these moments, allowing the amusement to be shared widely, extending the entertainment beyond the immediate location. What could be a stressful or embarrassing moment becomes a source of shared joy, emphasizing the lighter side of travel. By the end of this part, it becomes clear that the breaking point is not a single event, but a collection of moments that happen simultaneously or in quick succession. Each tourist's actions, combined with crowd movement, environmental factors, fatigue, and enthusiasm, contribute to the overall chaos. These events, while unpredictable, remain safe and mostly harmless. They serve as the highlight of the day, providing laughter, stories, and memories that tourists and onlookers alike will remember for years to come. The breaking point is a reminder that travel is not always smooth or perfect. It is a combination of curiosity, excitement, mistakes, and unexpected interactions that create the most memorable experiences. Tourists' mistakes, while initially minor, escalate naturally into larger, funnier, and sometimes chaotic moments. Cameras, smartphones, and bystanders ensure that these incidents are preserved, becoming stories that can be shared with friends, family, and online audiences. In the end, these moments of chaos are what make travel fun, unpredictable, and unforgettable. Ultimately, Part 4 captures the peak of the tourist's adventure. The small errors, minor stumbles, and awkward moments of earlier parts have now combined into a lively, humorous, and memorable climax. It shows how curiosity, excitement, crowd interactions, and environmental factors can escalate ordinary experiences into moments that are entertaining, unpredictable, and distinctly human. Tourists may feel a little embarrassed at the time, but these incidents often become the stories they cherish the most, shared with laughter for years to come. After the peak of chaos and awkwardness, the day begins to wind down. Tourists, exhausted but still full of excitement, start to reflect on the events that have unfolded. What began as curiosity and eagerness has now turned into a series of unforgettable experiences. The falls, slips, stumbles, and missteps that occurred earlier have left their mark not only on the memories of the tourists themselves, but also on the people who observed them. Even though some moments were slightly embarrassing at the time, they are now sources of laughter, shared stories, and lessons learned. One of the first things tourists notice as the day ends is the sheer amount of photos and videos they have collected. From selfies in front of statues to snapshots of street performers, every little incident seems to have been captured. Even the funny or awkward moments, the ones where someone almost fell into a fountain or tripped over a step, are preserved on camera. Many tourists spend time reviewing their photos, laughing at their own expressions, poses, or mistakes. These captured moments turn minor mishaps into cherished memories. What seemed like a stressful or embarrassing situation in the moment becomes a funny story that can be shared with friends and family. As they leave the crowded landmarks and return to quieter streets or their hotels, tourists often start talking about the events of the day. Groups of friends laugh together, recounting who tripped, who almost fell, and who made the silliest pose for a photo. Even strangers in the same space may exchange amused comments about the humorous incidents they witnessed. This reflection helps tourists realize that mistakes are a natural part of traveling. They also begin to appreciate the humor in the chaos, understanding that travel is rarely perfect. Instead, it is full of unpredictable human moments that make it memorable. Local guides and vendors often play a role in this reflective period as well. Guides may point out the humorous moments that occurred during the day, reminding tourists of the reactions of street performers or the small chain reactions caused by their stumbles. Vendors might recall tourists, funny expressions, or minor mishaps while trying local foods. These reflections not only entertain tourists, but also provide gentle lessons on how to navigate busy tourist spots more effectively. The shared laughter helps create a positive bond between visitors and locals, highlighting the universal nature of human error and amusement. Another part of the aftermath is the way tourists begin to see the value in paying attention to their surroundings. Many realize that some of their earlier mistakes could have been avoided by noticing signs, being more cautious, or taking a moment to observe before moving forward. A tourist who tripped near a statue might reflect on the importance of watching where they step, while another who bumped into a performer may understand the need to respect performance spaces. These reflections do not dampen the fun of the day. Instead, they provide useful lessons that can be applied in future travels. Social media also plays a significant role in the aftermath. Tourists often share their photos and videos online, including the funny and awkward moments. Posts showing minor mishaps, playful mistakes, and unexpected incidents often receive a lot of attention because they are relatable. People enjoy seeing the human side of travel, the stumbles, the laughs, and the curiosity that leads to unpredictable outcomes. These shared experiences help tourists connect with others, both friends and strangers, creating a community of laughter and understanding. What may have seemed embarrassing at first becomes a source of connection and joy. Food experiences also leave a lasting impression during the reflective period. Tourists often remember the moments when they tried unusual snacks or local delicacies and made funny faces or minor spills. A dropped ice cream cone or a spilled drink, while awkward at the time, becomes a story worth telling. Some tourists even look back at videos of themselves reacting to the taste of a new dish, laughing at their own surprise or hesitation. These experiences, combined with photos of the food itself, create a mix of memories that are both funny and meaningful. Interaction with street performers, vendors, and locals also contributes to the reflection. Tourists may recall moments when they accidentally stepped into a performer's space or misinterpreted a gesture from a vendor. These small incidents, once slightly embarrassing, are now entertaining stories. Tourists often share these experiences with their travel companions or even with strangers who have witnessed similar situations. The humor lies in the unpredictability of human behavior. How a simple action, like stepping backward or waving at the wrong person, can create a chain reaction of funny moments. By this stage, tourists also start reflecting on the personal growth that comes from their experiences. They recognize that travel is about more than just seeing landmarks or taking photos. It is about learning, adapting, and enjoying the journey despite imperfections. Minor mistakes teach patience, observation, and flexibility. Tourists often feel a sense of accomplishment not only for visiting the places they planned, but also for navigating unexpected challenges. They realize that travel involves trial and error, and that these experiences, even the funny or awkward ones, are what make a trip truly memorable. Another important aspect of the aftermath is the sense of community that develops. Tourists often find themselves sharing laughs with people they met during the day, other travelers, locals, or even strangers who witnessed the humorous incidents. These shared moments create bonds and stories that continue to be enjoyed long after the trip ends. Laughter becomes a universal language, bridging gaps between cultures, ages, and backgrounds. In reflecting on the day, tourists understand that the funniest memories are often the ones that were unplanned and spontaneous, involving both themselves and others. As the day comes to a close, tourists also begin to appreciate the unpredictability and excitement of travel. They may realize that the minor mishaps, awkward poses, or stumbles they experienced were part of a larger, joyful adventure. The unpredictability makes the day more exciting and memorable than a perfectly smooth visit could have been. Tourists understand that the human element, the curiosity, mistakes, and laughter, is what transforms ordinary sightseeing into an extraordinary experience. These reflections often lead to a more relaxed and enjoyable approach to future travel, with less pressure to be perfect and more openness to unexpected moments. Some tourists also take the time to reflect on their own behavior and how they interacted with the local culture. They may notice moments when they learn to be more respectful, cautious, or observant. For example, after bumping into a street performer or stepping into a restricted area, they might now be more aware of cultural and safety rules. These reflections are not about guilt, but about growth. Tourists recognize that minor mistakes are opportunities to learn and improve, making them more prepared for future adventures. The evening often provides a quiet space for these reflections. Tourists sit in cafes, walk along quiet streets, or relax in their hotel rooms, looking back on the events of the day. They scroll through photos, review videos, and laugh at the incidents that occurred. They may share stories with friends or family, recounting the funniest mishaps, unexpected surprises, and memorable encounters. These moments of reflection help solidify the day's experiences, turning chaos into cherished memories and minor mistakes into entertaining stories. Overall, the aftermath of a day full of tourist fails is a mix of humor, learning, and connection. Tourists understand that travel is not just about perfect photos or smooth plans. It is about curiosity, exploration, and the joy of experiencing new places, even when small mistakes happen along the way. Laughter, shared stories, and lessons learned are the true treasures of travel. Cameras and smartphones preserve these moments, allowing tourists to revisit them and share them with others for years to come. Ultimately, Part 5 of the story shows that the end of the adventure is not just a conclusion. It is a time for reflection, laughter, and growth. The tourists' earlier curiosity, excitement, and mistakes are now transformed into memories that are funny, meaningful, and unforgettable. What seemed awkward or embarrassing at the time is now a source of joy. These reflections emphasize that the beauty of travel lies not only in the sights and experiences, but also in the unpredictable, human moments that create stories worth sharing. By the time tourists finally rest for the evening, they carry with them a rich collection of experiences. Every stumble, awkward pose, and funny incident has contributed to a day filled with laughter and lessons. They may plan future trips with a little more caution, but they will also remember that the unexpected moments are often the most memorable. These reflections leave tourists feeling satisfied, amused, and ready for the next adventure, knowing that travel is a mix of planning, spontaneity, and shared human experiences that create lasting memories.